So these three things that I'm going to tell you are not going to be the, basic one, like recycle, use your water bottle, and so on. I mean, yes, they can help, but, they don't really make a change. These are three things that do. Okay, so the first thing that you can do is to stop eating meat or eat less meat. And that's because research showed that vegan diets resulted in 75% lower climate heating emissions, water pollution, and land use. 75%, that's huge. You can cut your own impact, your own carbon footprint by 75% just by eating less meat. That's huge. Now, I'm not telling you to go vegan or to cut off eating meat entirely, but I do strongly suggest you to just eat less of it. 80%, 70% of the time, try to follow a plant-based diet. I don't know, if 80% seems too much for you, try 50%. Try your best. Because the impact that the meat industry has on our planet is huge, yet is not talked about enough. I will go more into details about this in another video. I will link it here when it will be out, but in the meanwhile, if you're interested about this topic, I can suggest you these two things. The first thing is a book called Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer, and that book to me personally was mind-blowing, eye-opening, life-changing, whatever, because it really gives you a 3060 view about this whole issue, and you really realize that the impact that intensive farming has on the planet should be things that everyone knows, yet no one knows about it and no one talks about it. So I highly recommend that. And the second one is to watch a documentary called Food for Profit. Is by an Italian journalist called Giulia Innocenzi, and again, it shows you the true cost of intensive farming and eating meat. Again, it's really a very broad issue. It has, of course, not only ethical implications, like the fact of eating animals can raise on its own lots of issues, but it's also focused on the true impact on the environment, on the health of people. So I highly recommend this too. Now, the second thing that I do suggest you to do is to mow your lawn less. Now, the insect population has been declining a huge lot in the past decades, and it is extremely worrying because if insects disappear, we die too. And now, if you've been concerned about the progressive declining of bee population, of butterflies and other pollinator insects, just look no further than your own backyard. If you want to help them, just mow your lawn less. You can support the bee habitat just by mowing your lawn less. Even a modest reduction in low mowing frequency can bring a host of environmental benefits: increased pollinators, increased plant diversity, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. At the same time, a longer, healthier lawn makes it more resistant to pests, weeds, and drought events. So that's really a little change in your habits that does have a great impact. Now, how much should you mow your lawn? Well, try to mow it as little as possible. Now, I don't know, if you or your father or your grandfather or whatever, or your neighbor mow the lawn once every week, try to mow it once every 3 weeks. if you mow it once a month. Try to mow it once every 3 months. You get the idea. Okay, so the third thing that you can do is to stop buying fast fashion. Now, most people don't have a clear idea about what stores are fast fashion and what stores are not. Well, Zara is fast fashion, Nike is fast fashion, Adidas is fast fashion, Brandy Melville, Primark, H&M. Basically, if you can find a fashion store in a mall, is fast fashion. So fast fashion is not about a type of clothing. It's a business model, and it is designed to create clothes cheaply, quickly, and in massive quantities. Now, it has a massive environmental impact. So, as a matter of fact, it is the second biggest consumer of water and responsible for 10% of global CO2 emissions. And now you may ask, well, okay, but if I can't shop in those stores anymore, what can I do? Now, I'm going to make a video specifically about this topic, but of course I'm going to suggest you to buy vintage, buy secondhand. There are lots of great apps and sites right now where you can find great secondhand clothing with great quality. And also, if you really want to buy a certain dress or a certain t-shirt or whatever, just buy, but buy them less, like buy only 5 items every year. Be creative, basically. And also, what I think that is mostly unseen when it comes to fast fashion is the human cost about it. I think most of people do know that workers in fast fashion get paid miserably, from 50 cents, I think, in Bangladesh, to up to $1.5 in the higher wages. So that's ridiculous. But also, fast fashion is an industry where there is a lot of gender-based violence. So, a study conducted in 2018 showed that 87% of Cambodian garments workers experienced verbal harassment or unwanted touching based on their gender. Same year in Indonesia, 71% said they experienced gender-based violence at work. I think that diving deeply into these kind of topics really can change the way you view the world. As an instance, now every time I walk into a mall and I see all of these fashion stores, what I see is clothes that are stained in blood. Because there is so much violence that is unseen behind it. And the only good news is that you can decide whether you want to be a part of it or not. So these are my 3 things that I can suggest you to do today. Again, I will dive deeper into these topics in the next videos. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.